All right, hello. Thank you so much for joining me in this practice today under the Taurus Full Moon. Taurus is the first of the earth signs, and it reminds us that no matter how chaotic or out of control the world around us may feel, we always have the ability to come back to our bodies and come back to our breath to find a deep sense of inner peace, to find safety and stability from within. So that's what we will be cultivating in today's gentle yoga practice. If you have 2 blocks and maybe a bolster, or you could use some pillows or folded blankets, anything that may give you a little more support so that you feel that grounding, supportive earth energy even more in this practice. You can have those ready to go close by. And then when you're ready, we will start off on our backs. Laying down in Shavasana with the legs out, and the arms down beside your hips, just a little bit away from your body so that the fingertips aren't taking in any information. And same thing with your feet. If you're touching a block or the wall, just kind of move your legs so that they're not touching anything. And once you're comfortable, start to take some deep breaths in and out through your nose. With every exhale that you take, invite your body to relax a little bit deeper. Noticing if you're holding on to tension anywhere in your body. Maybe you can soften around your jaw a little bit more, or around your shoulders. Then bring your awareness to the back of your head. Feel where your head touches the ground. And allow the back of your head to become really heavy. Relaxing your head and your neck. And shift your awareness down to your upper back and around your shoulders. And again, feel the upper back touching the ground. And as you breathe, allow your upper back to melt down towards the earth. Bring your awareness to your right arm and your right hand. Feel the back of the arm and hand making contact with the ground. And notice what points of your arm are the heaviest on the ground. And allow them to become a little bit heavier. And move your awareness over to your left arm. Feeling the back of the arm and hand making contact with the ground. Notice what parts are pressing against the ground a little bit deeper. And see if you can soften a little bit more into those areas. And move your awareness down to your glutes and around your low back. Feeling them become heavy. Shift your awareness to your right leg and the right foot. Sending your breath all the way down to the right leg. And allow it to become heavy as you exhale. And shift your awareness over to your left leg, left heel. Taking a breath down to your left leg. Feeling the points of contact with the ground. Relax the left leg. Then take a deep breath in from your toes all the way up to the crown of your head as you inhale. And as you exhale, feel your whole back body soften down to the ground. And do that again, taking a full breath in. And relaxing as you exhale. One more time, deep breath in. As you exhale, feel the whole body relax. And with your next inhale, slowly start to reach your arms up overhead, point your toes, and take a full body stretch. And then relax your arms down beside your hips and begin to bend your knees, bringing your feet flat on the mat. And take your feet out nice and wide. Find a few windshield wipers, letting your knees drop one at a time over to the right and then over to the left. Maybe start to rock your head from side to side as well. Then bring your legs back to center, feet flat on the mat. And begin to hug your right knee in towards your belly, wrapping your hands around your shin or around your knee. And you can either stay just like this, hugging your knee into your belly, or with your next exhale, let all the breath out and lift your nose up to your knee, squeezing in. And on your inhale, lower your shoulders and your head back down. One more time like that. Exhale, lift your nose up to your knee. Inhale, relax, back down. Release your right foot down and switch sides, bringing your left knee into your belly. Take a deep breath in. And if you'd like, you can add on by lifting your nose up to your knee. Inhale to relax your head and your shoulders back down. And with the breath out, feel the low belly drawing back to your spine as you lift your nose up to your knee. Inhale, relax your head and your shoulders. Then bring both knees into your belly. Give yourself a big hug. And maybe you just let your low back and your tailbone kind of lift up away from the ground to stretch the low back as you hug your knees in tight. And maybe you let it rock a few times, lowering the tailbone down, the knees a little bit away from you, and then squeezing in, letting the low back lift away from the ground a bit. One more time. And then maybe you lift your nose up to your knees again, curling everything into a tight ball, and relax. Lower your feet back down, and lift your right leg up to the ceiling. Start to point and flex your right ankle a few times. Really paying attention to how your foot feels, how your ankle feels. Keeping your awareness focused on your body and sensation. And then make some circles with your ankle in one direction. and circle it a few times in the other direction. Flex your ankle, pulling the toes back towards your shin, and start to lower your legs straight down to the mat. And it can either come all the way down to the floor or it can stay hovering off of the ground. Either way, when it gets down, bend your knee to bring your heel towards your glutes. When it gets there, point your toes and then straighten your leg back up towards the ceiling, stretching the front of the leg, the shin, the ankle. Flex your ankle, lengthening the back of your leg, your hamstrings, as you lower it back down to the ground. When it gets there, bend your knee, sliding your heel towards your glutes, then point your toes as you lengthen your leg back up to the ceiling. Let's do that one more time. Flex your ankle, lower your leg down to the mat, and then bend your knees, sliding your heel to your glutes, point your toes, lift your leg up. And then flex your ankle again, bend your knee at about a 90-degree angle and swivel your hip between internal and external rotation. So your knee will stay pretty close to the same position and your thigh is rolling in and out. The foot and the lower leg reflect that by swinging from side to side. But feel that movement deep in your hip. You can even bring your hand down to your right hip crease and feel what's going on, getting some of that feedback through the hands. Then we're going to hold the external rotation as you cross your ankle over your left thigh for a figure 4 stretch. And you could stay right here. You could slide a block underneath your left foot to lift a little bit higher, or you could reach behind your left leg with your hands. And it might feel nice to rock a little bit from side to side. Or sometimes stillness is what feels best. But either way, bringing your awareness to your breath. Take one more deep breath here. And start to release your left foot down if it's lifted. Release your right foot down. And we'll switch sides, lifting your left leg up to the ceiling. Begin by pointing and flexing your ankle. Then make some circles with your ankle in one direction. And circle it a few times in the other direction. Flex your ankle, begin to lower your leg down to the mat, straight down. Once it gets there, bend your knee, heel to your glutes, point your toes to lengthen the front of the leg as you stretch the leg up to the ceiling. Flex your ankle, lower your leg down to the ground, lengthening the back of your leg, then bend your knee, point your toes to lengthen and straighten the front of the leg. Flex your ankle one more time, lowering down. Bend your knee, point your toes, lift the leg. Then flex your ankle, bend your knee at about a 90-degree angle and start to roll the thigh in and out, moving the hip between internal and external rotation. And again, maybe you bring one hand or both hands down to your left hip crease and feel that movement. Feel that strength coming from your hip. And then hold the external rotation, crossing your ankle over your right thigh for your figure 4 stretch. This might feel good right here, or you might choose to add a block underneath your right foot, or even reach behind your right leg. Feel free to explore some movement, see how it feels. And if you don't like it, you can always come back to center. And take a few deep breaths. Imagining you can send your breath all the way down to the sensation around your left hip. Notice how the exhale supports the hip, relaxing and releasing tension. And slowly release right foot down if it's lifted. Release the left foot down. And then bring both knees into your belly and make some circles to massage your low back. You can also just rock from side to side. Make some circles in the other direction. Notice how it feels to make small circles right at the center of the sacrum and low back, and how it feels to make bigger circles. And then lower your feet down to the ground. Lift your hips a little bit to slide them over to the right. Then lift your feet off of the ground and drop your knees over to the left, coming into a twist. Make any little adjustments once you get there, and feel free to take any variation of a twist that you like. Reach your right arm out to the side and let your head roll to the right. And take a deep breath into the right arm, the right side of your shoulder and rib cage. As you exhale, relax. One more time, inhale into the right arm, shoulder. Maybe you even make a fist with your right hand and squeeze the muscles in the right arm with the inhale. And as you relax, let go of all that tension. Come back through center. Feet flat on the mat to lift your hips and slide them a little bit over to the left side. And then drop your knees to the right, and you can adjust, bringing your knees up higher or lower. Maybe you add some support with a bolster or blanket between your knees. Maybe the top knee lands on some support. Reach the left arm out to the side. And take a deep breath into the left arm, shoulder, rib cage. Notice how it lifts and lowers with the breath. And if it felt good on the other side, tense and release with the breath. So as you inhale, make a fist with your left hand, squeeze the muscles in the left arm. Then as you exhale, let it all go. Make your way back to center. And again, feet flat on the mat. We'll take a few bridge rolls, pressing your feet down into the floor. Start to tuck your tailbone and lift your hips up off of the ground. Then with your exhale, slowly roll through your spine to lower your upper back, mid back, low back down into the mat. Inhale, tucking your tailbone, lift your hips up into your bridge pose. Notice what muscles are working as you lift. And see if you can feel the muscles that are working as you lower down. Feeling the balance between the strength in the back of the body, lifting up, inhale. The strength in the front of the body to lower you with control as you exhale. One more time, lift the hips up. And then lower the hips down. Good. From here, we'll simply roll onto one side to press up to a comfortable seated position. So maybe crossing one leg in front of the other. And we'll just start to move around the head and the neck. So if there's a different leg variation that feels good, maybe you sit on a bolster or a blanket. Maybe you kick a leg straight. That's perfectly fine here. But just start to drop your chin down to your chest to stretch the back of your neck, and then lift your chin up to the ceiling, stretching the front of your throat. And do that a few times. Chin to chest, chin to ceiling or sky. And Taurus rules the neck in the body. So opening up this energy center. One more time like that. And then guide your head back to center. And just feel for a moment where your head is in space. And maybe slide your head forward and back a few times. Reaching your head forward and then pulling your head straight back into space. And it might feel kind of funny, but getting that nice alignment with the neck and strengthening the neck to help with our posture. Press your head straight back, kind of like you're making a double chin, or like you're going to press your head into the wall behind you. One more time, reach the neck forward and then pull it straight back. And bring your head back to center. Drop your right ear to your right shoulder. Then lift your head up and over to the other side. And do that a few times, lifting up and over. One more. And again, lift your head up to center and start to twist to look over one shoulder and then twist to look over the other shoulder. And it's okay to let the upper body move a little bit, but if you notice that you're using a lot of your torso to twist, see if you can kind of hold it in place a little bit and get more of the movement from your neck. One more time. And bring your head back to center. Let's take some circles with the neck. So start by dropping your chin down to your chest and then slide your chin to your shoulder, up and around. Switch the direction of your circles. Then bring your head back up to center and take a few rolls with your shoulders, lifting up, back, and down. And switch, rolling your shoulders forward a few times. And relax your shoulders. Take a deep breath in, reaching your arms out to the side. And with your exhale, wrap your right arm underneath, holding on to opposite shoulders. Give yourself a big hug and feel a stretch in the upper back, dropping your chin down to your chest and rounding in your upper back. And it might feel nice to kind of rock from side to side, almost imagining you're giving yourself a hug, just like you would with someone else. And then lifting back up, open your arms out to the side, gently squeeze your shoulder blades together, and then wrap your left arm underneath your right arm, holding opposite shoulders. Start to drop your chin down to your chest, and maybe rock a little side to side. And come back up, open your arms one more time. Once they're out, squeeze the shoulder blades together and then relax the arms down. Lift just your right arm up to the ceiling and take a side stretch over to the left. And with your inhale, lift back up through center, both arms up. Exhale over to the other side. Really reach through your top arm. Inhale back up through center. One more time. Over to the left. Inhale through center and exhale over to the right. Inhale, both arms up. Take a little twist to the right, lowering your hands down just to hold you in place. And now feeling the twist all the way down into the low belly. With the exhale, draw the low belly in. Take your gaze over your right shoulder. And inhale back through center, reach both arms up. Exhale, twist to the other side. Take a deep breath in, lengthening through your spine. And with your exhale, draw the low belly in and twist. Let's do one more on each side. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, twist. Inhale, center. Exhale to the other side. Inhale, center, reach up. And then exhale, lower your hands down. All right, we're going to get into the jaw a little bit. So this might look kind of funny, but it feels really good. And whenever I get stressed out, this is one of the biggest signs that I hold a lot of tension in my jaw. So we're going to try to release some of that. So take your hands to your jawbone and just gently start to massage. And then pause the massage around your jawbone where the bottom and top connect, and open your mouth as wide as you can. And then relax your jaw, massage around the cheeks, anywhere that feels good. And then pause your fingers moving, open your mouth as wide as you can. Relax. One more time, massage your jaw and the muscles of your cheeks. And then open your mouth as wide as you can. And relax. And then slide your jaw from side to side. And maybe you just relax your jaw and use your hands to slide your lower jaw from side to side. And then come back to center. Again, release that. And make your way around into a tabletop position. Bring your knees on the ground under your hips, your wrists under your shoulders, and begin to move between cat and cow pose. As you inhale, tipping your pelvis forward to stretch your belly, lifting your chin up. And then as you exhale, stretch your back, push the floor away, round your back. Inhale, lift, stretch the front body, and exhale, round. And explore any movement that would feel good here. I'm trying to just listen to your body. And where does it feel tight? And playing around with experimenting with different things, finding out what it is that feels good for you. And start to come back through center. Take your knees out wide and find a few bear circles, shifting forward to the right, back to the left, and around. And switch the direction of your circles. And make your way back to center, tabletop. Extend your right leg back, tuck your toes under, and rock back and forth a few times, pressing your heel down to the ground. And then from here, slide your leg over to the right. I'm going to move a little bit away from the wall so that your right foot is about in line with your hip. And from here, lower your forearms down. You might rock your hips back a little bit to go feel the stretch more. And breathe into the inner right hip. Then come back through center, lifting your hands so that they are flat on the mat. Take a step forward with your right foot. And your hands can also be on blocks here to give you a little bit more space to step that right foot forward. And then tuck your left toes under to lift your left knee off of the ground, coming into a low lunge with the hands to the inside of the right foot. Take a breath here. And as always, feel free to find movement. And then step your left foot forward, nice and wide, coming into a forward fold at the top of the mat. And just bend one knee and then the other, rocking your hips from side to side. Then turn both toes out a little bit, heels in. Bend your knees to any degree, coming into a low squat, and then straighten. And do that a few times, bending your knees and bringing your legs towards straight, folding over with your torso. Inhale, the torso lifts a little bit. Exhale, folding. One more time, inhale to bend the knees, and exhale, bringing the legs towards straight. And then we'll reverse that. So you can turn your toes to face the front of the mat. Take a big step back with your left foot in your lunge. Drop the left knee. And then bring your right knee back as well. Back into tabletop position. We'll take it on the other side. Extend your left leg back, tuck your toes under, and rock back and forth a few times. Pressing left heel down to the ground. And slide your leg over to the left side until it's about in line with your hip. And maybe lower your forearms down. If it feels better to have the hands flat on the mat, then stay there instead. And send a breath down to your hip. And bring your hands flat on the mat, or maybe you have the blocks under your hands as you step your left foot forward to the outside of your left hand. And tuck the right toes under to lift your right knee. You're in a low lunge with the back knee lifted. And just notice how it feels. Explore any movement that you'd like. Then take a big step forward with your right foot. So you're in a forward fold with a wide stance at the top of the mat. Turn your toes out a little bit, your heels in. Maybe you turn the blocks to a higher setting. And bend and straighten your knees a few times. And you can choose how deep of a bend, how much you straighten. Feeling that power over your own body. You can choose how much you lift your torso, how much you fold your torso. Doing what's best for you in this moment. One more time. Then we're going to hold our forward fold. You can turn your toes again so that they're facing the front of the mat. And maybe you release the blocks and soften your knees a little bit to come into ragdoll. Just letting your arms dangle or holding on to opposite elbows. Sway your torso from side to side to encourage your spine to lengthen and relax. And same thing with your head and your neck. Give it a little shake side to side, forward and back. Take one more deep breath here. And begin to bring your hands back onto the blocks if they're lifted away. Toe heel your feet to about hip width distance apart. And with your next inhale, lift up halfway, bringing your fingertips to the blocks or to your fingertips to the shins. Lengthening your spine, reaching the crown of your head forward. And soften your knees, fold forward with your torso. On your next inhale, roll all the way up to standing, slowly stacking your spine. And when you get to the top, roll your shoulders up, back, down, and around a few times. And relax your shoulders down. Take a deep breath in, reach your arms out to the side and up. Hold on to your left wrist with your right hand and take a side stretch over to the right. Inhale through center. Exhale over to the left. Inhale through center. One more time on each side. Exhale, side stretch. Inhale, center. Exhale to the other side. Inhale, center. Then take an open arm twist, reaching your right arm back, your left arm forward. Inhale, center. A little back bend, pressing your hips forward, lifting your chest and your gaze up. Then exhale, open arm twist to the other side. Inhale, center. One more time each side. Exhale, open arm twist. Inhale, center. A little back bend. Exhale, twist. Back to center. Last little back bend. And then lower your hands down. Mountain pose. We're going to do a little release for the shoulder and around the neck here. So bring your right hand to the top of your head and just start to shrug your shoulder up to your ear a few times. And relax your shoulder, drop your head down to that same shoulder, relaxing your ear to shoulder and lifting up without pulling on your head. Just let it naturally drop over to the side, just the weight of your head. One more like that. And then bring your head back to center and start to twist your head in the opposite direction of the arm that's lifted. So over to the left, and just let your elbow kind of move with you and feel that in your shoulder. And then come back through center. Twist to the side with your head, let the arm follow, and then back to center. Let's do about 6 more of those, twisting your head to the side and back to center, letting the arm, the elbow, and shoulder follow. Last one. Then bring your head back to center and just move your elbow to center. Then let it come back out to the side. Move it to center and out to the side. One more like that. And then release that arm down. And roll your shoulders a few times. Maybe do one at a time. And rolling up and back. And then relax the shoulders. Take your other hand to the top of your head, so your left hand, and begin by shrugging your shoulder up to your ear, and then relax your shoulder down. Shrug your shoulder up and down. Let's do about 6 more. Last one. And relax your shoulder down and start to drop your left ear to your left shoulder without pulling on your head. Just let it naturally fall and then lift back up. And notice how your shoulder, your left shoulder blade is moving. It slides down towards your rib cage and then it lifts back up. Just naturally sliding down and lifting up. About 4 more here. Feel free to do these at your own pace if I'm going too slow or too fast. 1 more. Go ahead and lift your head to center. Start to twist the other direction with your head and let your elbow, your arm follow. And then back to center. Twist over to the right with your head and back to center. Twist to the right and center. Keep going at your own pace. And then come back to center and just move the arm center and back to the side. Elbow to the center and out to the side. To the center and to the side. Let's do 4 more. Last one. And then relax that arm down. Notice how your shoulders feel. Then a few more. Just rolling the shoulders. Removing the neck. Yeah, then when you're ready, inhale, reach your arms out to the side and up. Then exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Pause for a moment. Inhale, reach out and up. Exhale, fold forward, soften your knees as you come down, release your spine. Now let's take a big step back with the right foot and come into a pyramid pose so that the back foot's at about a 45-degree angle and the left hip is pulling back into space and the right hip is pulling forward. And as you exhale, let your torso fold over your left leg. And as you inhale, roll through your spine, lengthen. Exhale, soften, let your back relax. Let your head and neck relax. Inhale, lengthen. 1 more time, exhale, relax your spine, your torso. And inhale, lengthen. And let's turn to the right. You can take your blocks with you if you'd like. And we'll find a few side lunges, bending your right knee, sit the hips back into space, then lift your hips up and over to the left, bending your left knee. Rock your hips from side to side a few times. And then bring your hips back to center. Take a wide leg forward fold, relaxing your torso, your head, and your neck. Give your head a little shake. And then lift up onto fingertips or blocks. Turn back around to the top of the mat. And we'll come into a narrow knee, low lunge, dropping your back knee down. Reach your arms up. Feeling a little tuck of your tailbone and feel that your left foot's pressing down into the mat and pulling back. And the right leg is pressing down into the mat and pulling forward. So energetically, the legs are really engaged. And everything kind of hugs to midline. So thinking about your inner thighs hugging towards center. And there won't be a lot of movement in your body with any of those, that engagement. It's very subtle, but you'll feel it in your muscles. You'll feel it deep within. Then start to lower your hands down, tuck your back toes, lift your right knee, and slide your foot in a little bit for warrior 1 stance. So back foot is grounded all the way down, at about a 45-degree angle. Reach your arms up. And again, encourage the right hip to pull forward a little bit and the left hip to pull back. Then step your back foot forward. Coming into mountain pose, bring your hands down to heart center and just feel your feet on the ground. Maybe rock forward and back, bringing the weight to your toes and back to your heels or side to side. And then find your center. Take a deep breath in, reach your arms out and up with your exhale, forward fold. And step your left foot back into a pyramid pose. So again, blocks are really nice under the hands here. Back foot's at about a 45-degree angle. Encourage the left hip to pull forward and the right hip to pull back. And if a little movement feels nice, as you exhale, soften your spine. Fold over the right leg, and as you inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, relax, fold. Inhale, lengthen. One more time like that. From here, turn to the left, facing the long edge of the mat, taking a few side lunges, bend one knee and then the other, sitting your hips back like you're sitting into an imaginary chair. And then bring your hips to center, wide leg forward fold, let your torso hang heavy. Give your head a little shake side to side, forward and back. And then lift up onto your fingertips or blocks. Turn to the top of the mat. Warrior one stance. Oh, I forgot our low lunge. Let's drop the back knee first and come into narrow knee, low lunge. Reaching your arms up. Energetically pressing your legs down into the floor, pulling them in towards each other like you're going to scrunch up the mat. And really lift up through the fingertips. So from that place of stability in the legs, we have this ability to move freely in the upper body. And start to lower your hands back down. Now we'll come up into warrior one, tucking your back toes, lift your left knee, slide that foot in a little bit, and then reach your arms up. And see if you can feel that subtle movement of the right hip pulling back and the left hip pulling forward. Good. From here, step your back foot forward, coming into mountain pose at the top of the mat. Bring your hands down to your heart. Take a breath. Feel your center. And inhale, reach your arms out and up, palms together, and forward folds all the way down. Then bring your hands either to your blocks or down to the mat and step back to a downward facing dog. So hands and feet down, hips lifted up and back, kind of making a triangle shape with your body. And bend one knee and then the other. And start to shift the weight into your left foot and float your right leg back and up. Bend your right knee and circle your hip a few times in one direction, and a few times in the other direction. Lower your right foot down, float your left leg up, bend your knee, circle your left hip, and switch the direction. And then lower your left foot down, drop your knees down, and we'll come into a seated position, swinging your legs out in front of you. We'll come into half butterfly pose first. So bend your right knee and bring your left leg out to the side. We're going to do that tense and release like we did at the beginning in our twist. So you'll start by engaging the muscles of the legs, and you can kind of press your foot into your leg into your foot, flex your ankles, squeeze all the muscles of your legs as you inhale, and then as you exhale, try to relax. So go into your stretch where you start to feel some sensation folding forward, and your hands could be resting on blocks or on your bolster, or your hands can just be down on the ground. And then inhale, energetically squeeze your legs. And then exhale, relax. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, squeeze the legs. Exhale, relax. 1 more time. Inhale, squeeze. And exhale, relax. And then just hold here, taking another breath or 2. Start to lift your torso back up, and we'll switch sides, bending your left knee, straighten your right leg out to the side, and then find your sweet spot where you're feeling some sensation, but it's not too intense. And then inhale, flex your ankle, squeeze the muscles, exhale, relax. Inhale, pull that right hip back. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Exhale, relax. 1 more time, tense as you inhale. And release as you exhale. And stay here for another breath or 2. And gently press yourself back up. We'll come into full butterfly pose next, bringing the soles of your feet together, your knees out to the side. And then again, tense and release. So as you inhale, press your feet into each other, squeeze all the muscles in your legs, kind of lift the knees up a little bit, and then exhale, soften, relax. So you can take it folding forward to whatever degree feels good for you. And then do that a few times. Inhale, squeeze, tense the legs. Exhale, relax. And you might lift your torso a little bit out of the stretch as you tense. And then let your torso fold forward as you release. Let's do 1 more. Inhale, tense. Lengthen your spine. Exhale, release, fold. And again, take 1 or 2 breaths here. And then lift yourself back up, lifting your knees. We're going to come into deer pose from here. So it can be really nice to use a bolster, or maybe you have some pillows or blankets, but we're going to turn at the top of the mat, drop your knees over to the left so that your left hip is facing the back of the mat. And you can bring your knees bent at about a 90-90 angle if that feels good, or some people like to kind of stack their knees. Either way, we're going to twist to the back of the mat. And I like to use the bolster. You can also use a combination of the bolster and the blocks to build a ramp, or maybe for whatever you're using, get creative. And this is nice, especially if you have a flatter bolster. My bolster is pretty tall, so sometimes I like to use just the bolster. And then twist to the back, folding over the bolster. Watch out for my microphone, so I'm going to twist a little bit this way, but you can turn your torso all the way down, and then resting your left cheek, or you can lift and twist if that feels good in your neck to rest your right cheek down. So play around with the props, see how that feels, maybe with the blocks and the bolster, or you can always move the blocks out of the way and lower your torso over just the bolster. And if you don't have the blocks or the bolster, you can do this without any support by bringing just your hands down, or maybe your forearms can come down. Take a few deep breaths here. Taking some time for stillness and silence. We have so much information coming at us all the time that it can be really overstimulating. But we also tend to become a little bit addicted to it, and it makes it harder to take time for stillness and quiet. So just notice how you naturally respond. It can feel really challenging. And we want to do things and we want to take in information. But if you find that your mind starts to wander off onto anything that takes you out of this present moment, just gently guide your awareness back to something that brings you into this present moment. And that can be noticing how your body feels. It can be just watching your breath and notice how your belly moves as you breathe, or how your chest moves as you breathe. Or it can be focusing on sounds that you hear. Just continue to bring yourself back over and over. It doesn't matter how many times you become distracted. Let's take one more breath on this side. And start to press yourself up and unwind to the top of the mat. And we'll take it on the other side by dropping the knees over to the right and twisting to the right to the back of the mat. And maybe you're on fingertips, you have something under your hands, maybe your hands come down. Whatever you did on the other side, take that on this side as well. I'm not going to use any support just so that my microphone isn't covered. Sometimes we have a little bit of a stigma against using support and feeling like we're weaker for using support, but it can be a beautiful addition to allow the body to relax more deeply. Sending these signals to your body and to your mind that you are supported, you are safe, and it's okay to let go of some tension. It's okay to let your guard down a little bit. So don't be afraid to add some support. And take one more deep breath on this side. And press yourself up and unwind to the top of the mat. And from here, we're going to come into our last pose, which will be child's pose. So you can swing your legs around. And this also can be done with or without support. So without support, you bring your big toes to touch. You can choose how close your knees are or how far apart your knees are. You'll tend to feel more of a stretch in your hips with the knees out wider, but choose what feels good for you. And you'll sit your hips back, relax your forehead down to the ground, palms facing down. But again, you can add some support the same way. And maybe if you have that structure built at the back and it's still there, you can just turn around and use that. Otherwise, you could bring the bolster to rest your torso on, or you can build that ramp to have it even higher. 2 blocks and the bolster. Wherever you're at, and start to take some deep breaths. Bringing your awareness back to your breath. Resting in your child's pose. And I invite you to notice how deep your breath naturally is right now. So counting how long it takes for an inhale and an exhale. And then see if you can lengthen your breath just 1 count longer the next time you inhale. And keep doing that, seeing if you can add on just 1 more count. And keep going until you find your deepest breath. And stay with that deep breath. And gently start to release that breath control. Press yourself up and out of your child's pose. I'm going to come around closer to the camera. And now that you've calmed your nervous system and you've connected to this grounding energy of the Taurus full moon that we'll be feeling for the next few days, it's a great time to go a little bit deeper with some journaling, or even just kind of thinking about these journal prompts. So they're down in the description below. And the first one is, what personal practices or beliefs help you to stay grounded during uncertain times? So being able to have this toolbox of different practices or things that you can do when you are feeling really anxious, really stressed out, really out of control, to find that sense of inner peace again, having those ready to go. Maybe it's just a quick breathing exercise, or maybe it's a longer yoga class or taking a bath anything that you can think of so that you can pull those out when you need them. And the second question is, how can you connect more deeply with nature to find peace? So anytime that we go into nature, it helps to give us this perspective of seeing that there's something so much bigger out there, and it kind of helps to make the things that we can't control feel a little less important. Not that they're not important, but just having that perspective of like all nature, we're in nature, all is well, can give us a lot of peace. So maybe you think of a few ways that you can incorporate being in nature more this week, and then you follow through with that and see how it feels. Then the third question is, what areas of your life need more stability, and how can you nurture them? So when we're feeling out of control, it can be helpful to kind of remember what you can control, and having certain routines and sense of stability in other places, other areas of your life can kind of give you more support and more of that grounding energy day to day. And of course it's a balance. You don't want to be too rigid in your routines, but just noticing kind of where could you kind of find more routine or more stability in your life, so that you are getting that sense of stability and safety from within that you have the power to cultivate. Yeah, so I hope that this practice brought you some sense of inner peace and self-care, and I hope you continue with that to take care of yourself as needed. Thank you so much for practicing with me, and if you enjoyed it, please like the video and subscribe to my channel to meet every full moon and new moon for a yoga practice together. And if you'd like more videos, you can check out my website, moonphaseyoga.com, where we move in line with our menstrual cycles. And again, that's a really great way to empower us to know our bodies and know how to take care of ourselves throughout the month and throughout our hormonal shifts. So check that out for more information, and if you have any questions or you want to chat, please leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. I hope you have a great day. Thanks.